What's up, AfterBuzzers? We are back talking about A Million Little Things, Episode 2, Band of Dads, and everybody is wondering, who is Barbara Morgan? Stay tuned.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Oh, such a nice little, chill vibe.
Can't go wrong with Gaga.
I do love me some Gaga.
Love Gaga. Lady.
I'm excited
Lady
to see
Gaga.
her movie, too.
Me too.
I do, too.
A Star is Born.
It looks real good, y'all.
It does.
What's up, guys? We are back in the AfterBuzz studios. Tonight we're going to chat about A Million Little Things, the hit new show of this fall. And we got a lovely panel of co-hosts. First up, I'm Laura L. Thomas. And to my left, I've got a lovely group of ladies.
Hi, everybody. I'm Maggie Clark.
Hey guys, I'm Alexandria.
And I am Takira Shabrae.
Yeah, the gang's all back together. We were missing you, Miss Maggie, last week. But
we
glad
missed
you're here.
you. Welcome.
Yeah, so we dive a little bit deeper into this this group's friendship this week. We've got a lot of questions about how much did John know. A lot of hints being dropped in this episode. We've got Rome kind of going through his own journey, which is really exciting to see. And then we've got a little bit more of a sense of who Gary is and his relationship, not only with the guys and with his new relationship with Maggie, but also with John's kids. And you can really tell how close they are as a group. Ladies, just give me your overall thoughts from last week to this week, kind of how you feel this episode lived up to last week. Do we feel like things are moving in an exciting direction? Were you left with more questions and answers? Takira, take it away.
Yeah, well, I didn't cry this episode.
I kind of did.
I know, I saw the tears.
Did you? Oh, yeah, I did a little
Oh my
bit.
gosh, I should have looked over. I had Kleenex for
It's the
Takira.
mom in me.
Yeah.
I can't, anytime they start with the babies and the kids and stuff like that, I can't handle it.
I know,
right? So anyway,
I know, but I loved the drama. I loved the ooh la la, what's going on?
Right.
Looking at all the details, trying to figure it out, and I appreciated that part of it. So it was a good change because tears to now I'm thinking.
Got all the tears away.
all the emotions.
Yes.
She's got all of the emotions.
Until next episode, we're probably going to cry.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like I'm next.
What were your overall thoughts, Miss Tay?
I love this episode. It's true father figure moments in this episode that I love so much. The title of this episode is truly Band of the Dads. They really are all coming together for the kids, and I love that so much. I don't have kids of my own, but I feel them.
Yeah.
Just wait till you do, girl. It's just
I know.
a flood of emotions. Anybody else have kids in here?
No.
I'm the only one? Okay, well.
There
we go.
Okay, girl.
I think
can
one
rep
is
for the
enough for the
moms.
group right
Yeah.
now. I'm feeling too many hormones in one group. Okay, a little bit, all over the place. What about you, Maggie? What do you think about this episode?
Well, you know what? In this episode, I really feel like we got to know John a little bit better and saw that he had been planning on this for a long time. So he had put all of these plans in place and all these wheels were turning, and he wanted to make sure everything was tied up with a little bow before he left all of them. So we saw a lot more of that in this episode. What did you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I think it left me with a lot of questions.
Yeah.
I just kept wondering, which I guess we're going to get into this as our first topic, and it might be a nice, way to get into this. But I just want to know, obviously, first of all, how much did John know? But then we're seeing such a planner sort of ducks in a row kind of personality from John. And the biggest hurdle that I could not get over in this episode was obviously the kids and his relationship with them. It's one thing to find out that your spouse is having an affair with your best friend or one of your best friends, which we don't know how much of that he knew.
Right.
But it's another thing to sort of make this drastic decision and do it in such a, obviously a permanent decision, and how that may affect your children. That's the one thing that I could not get past in this episode.
Yeah.
I just kept thinking, that can't be a big enough reason that can't be, like, just the affair can't be a big enough reason to leave your entire family.
Right.
Right.
There's got to be something else going on here. There's got to be something bigger. So, let's start with the relationship between Ed and Delilah.
Right.
So we see that Delilah finds the necklace that is similar to Eddie's. We don't know if it's Eddie's, but it is. Looks a heck of a
Way
lot
too
like
close.
it.
It's way too close.
Delilah gave it back to Eddie at the dance. So
Yeah.
we can only,
I guess we're assuming that
Could
it's
that
his.
necklace be one of those that you get in like a 50-cent little machine at the grocery store where you put the coin in and then it comes in that plastic
Kind
ball?
of look like it.
Yeah, could it be a common necklace?
For sure, but here's my question, because I thought, okay, maybe like when we see the predictions a little bit later, when Catherine gets a phone call about a necklace and all of, you know, that kind of stuff goes down, I was like, well, maybe they had matching, maybe there were friendship necklaces, I don't know, like maybe there was,
Right.
there's got to be more than one necklace floating around out there, but
I agree.
I think we're giving him too much of the benefit of the doubt. I really think that's the necklace.
you think it's Eddie's?
Yes, I think it's Eddie's.
100%.
I think that's 100%
I
it
do
is.
too.
So then why does he keep it in the drawer? Why keep it in the nightstand?
Well, it's because it's almost like it's hidden in an obvious place. Like you pick up the clues, you leave it for later. I mean, John is you hit the nail on the head. He's very thought out. And I know a few, like people, Twitter, all of that social media is saying that he's very thought out. And you kind of like use the clue and leave it like, okay. It's almost like John knew that they would be questioning themselves of why, and that they would be doing at some point their own investigation or trying to figure it out, and they'll come across all of these things. It's almost like he wanted them to know
That he
he
knew.
knew.
I think it was strategic.
So
Like
I
I
agree.
kind of I want you to know that I see this
absolutely.
later, just to like mess with their minds, because that's what's happening.
And he said everything happens for a reason. He
right.
planned this out. It's not just spur of the moment. So
Well, and kind of leading into that was the voicemail that he left Eddie on.
That question got
Wow.
answered for me.
Oh,
I
wow.
mean,
I didn't think it was gonna
emotional.
happen this episode.
that was a pretty drastic voicemail to get, and obviously Eddie had been waiting a long time to listen to the voicemail, and rightfully so. I mean, I feel like that might be a sucker punch in the gut to listen to.
he was in denial.
For sure.
He didn't want to feel responsible for his friend's death.
Right.
Yeah.
Because,
right.
I mean, I know you mentioned, like, the affair can't be the only reason why, but, I mean, some people, that is big enough.
That's enough.
true.
Something that we think is so tiny for someone to take their own life is huge to someone else. And so that alone could be. But the fact that John said, I was hoping to speak with you and not just leave you a message. I just want you to do me a favor, love each other.
I was like,
I know. I just got chills again when you said it.
But you guys, the love each other, that isn't exactly saying that he knows about
Yes.
the affair.
You know what?
Because he could
Yeah.
be saying, love each other as our
As a
friend
unit.
group, love each other, support each other, continue through life together. He isn't necessarily saying you and Delilah love
Yeah.
each other and I'm giving you my blessing.
Why just call Eddie then? Why not call all of them?
You didn't, I don't know.
no, that's another
Yeah.
thing. I think
Good
you're giving it too much of a stretch. I think that's
know.
why he called Eddie
Yeah.
specifically. Otherwise, he would have left like a group. I mean, there's group chat, there's group text.
Right.
Everybody has
Yeah.
an iPhone. You could just say it in the group real quick.
I'm just trying to think out of the box, you know, because I feel like this show is going to take us down a lot of twists and turns.
It already has.
There's gonna be
Right.
more. There's gonna be
Yes.
more that we learn from John, and like how much planning and preparation, like that he went into with every single person. I think we're done with this story. He's done with the Delilah and Eddie part, maybe, because that was the first 2 episodes. But now we're gonna figure out everybody else's character,
Right.
maybe.
Oh, so you think he's planting seeds like for everybody?
Yes.
Yes.
I think so.
do
too.
too.
Yeah.
I had
Yes.
a hashtag live light bulb.
Yeah, you did.
All of those people, that's going to be a thing this season, I guess. Hashtag live light bulb.
I like that.
All of the people that were on his beneficiary, I know we'll tie that in, but that kind of leaves me to think is that group, hey, love each other and don't let money involve, or whatever the case may be. I think you brought up an amazing point, Maggie, that we're being led to believe one thing, but this is TV, and it's gonna
Right.
take
It's gonna be a
drastic
twist.
turn. Yeah.
Right, it's got to be a big twist and
Yeah.
turn.
Right.
Speaking of that, so clearly Ashley knows a lot more than she's letting on. She's a little mystery woman, I guess, in this whole
Big question mark.
She's what is she? I don't want to say she's a time bomb, but I feel like she's a little bit of a time bomb. Like she's the keeper of all of the secrets. I don't know, they all have their own secrets, but she's keeping John's secret right now.
She's not keeping it the way he intended, though.
Right.
Yeah, not at all.
I agree.
Yeah, because that envelope clearly said Delilah, and
She just ripped it open
she
for
ripped
herself.
it open, and it clearly was addressed to Delilah,
none
not
of her
Ashley.
business.
It's none of her business. So
Nope.
it's almost like she's the what is it, the ripple effect, like if a butterfly flaps its wings, and then it's I feel like she's that part. She's just gonna mess it all up, and it's not gonna be John's plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which makes me wonder, it makes me wonder a lot of things. Like, it makes me wonder what their relationship was like, because obviously they were very close. It makes me wonder what she knows, what she might know, and what he may have divulged to her that she might be keeping as well as a secret. So I don't know. It makes me really curious to see how Ashley is going to play a factor in all of this.
I feel like Ashley's gonna be the huge finale of I feel like the buildup is gonna happen all episode, and she's gonna be the huge finale of like what John was really planning this whole time. She has all the answers.
It's a good point.
You guys.
It's an early prediction, I'm sorry, but
Is there a possibility, and I'm really, forgive the phrase, going out on a limb here, but like, could he possibly be alive?
oh no.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, could he have like rappelled down the building and like ran away? I'm not
Only
even kidding.
if.
You know,
Yeah,
is
I
that,
like where your mind is going, because I'm there with you, but
I don't know.
Like a Tupac
so.
situation.
Let's wait until the finale of this season and see what happens. But
hey
I
guys,
don't know.
I'm really alive.
Yeah.
You heard it here first. That's my
If
thought.
the show wasn't directed towards the cause, like the
Yeah.
reason why it's called A Million Little Things,
Right.
I think maybe, but because the show is like kind of circulating around like suicide awareness, then I think it is.
I think you're right.
I don't,
That's a good
think
point.
it'll be that big of a twist. Like, oh, well, we'll
Yeah.
just kidding.
Yeah.
And
To your point, though, I wrote the same question down in the beginning of my notes as well, because I thought, okay, is there a way that this could be a mistake? Like, is there a world that we exist in that this was not an intentional act on John's part, that it was a mistake, that it was an accident almost?
what do you think he would have? I mean, he
Like someone pushed him, or is that
No,
what
I
you're
mean, I don't
saying?
think somebody pushed him. I don't think it was murder. But I feel like, I don't know. I
did he
just
try
think,
to take it back?
yeah, I don't know. I'm just wondering,
He
like,
changed his mind.
well, clearly, like, we see Rome, obviously, you know, it's a different scenario. But we also, and we'll talk about it more when we talk about Rome a little bit, but we see him kind of go up to in his mind, have that moment where he goes up to the edge, almost just trying to see what it feels like,
yeah.
to be in that moment. Is there a possibility that he wanted to know what it felt like? I don't
Absolutely.
know.
I
mean,
think
That's
so.
true.
you know,
Suspenseful.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think so, because anyone struggling with that feeling, you imagine it very often. Like, what would this world be like if I wasn't here? How would I feel if I wasn't here? Would I even have to worry? What's life after this? Like, all of those thoughts go through your mind. And a lot of people who do take their own life in a split second change their mind, but obviously it doesn't always happen that way. There's an amazing documentary that investigates people jumping off the Golden State Bridge,
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
or
say.
the Golden
Yeah,
Gate Bridge,
Golden Gate.
and the basketball team, the Golden Gate Bridge, and I mean, that's such a powerful documentary, and so many people, and a survivor talks about the very last second, as soon as my hands left that rail at bridge, I changed my mind, and so I think that's definitely a possibility. But I think he still planned all this out. I think he had it with all intentions. Was he afraid going down? Probably.
You're right, especially with all the plans that he put into place, and that he had the trust and the will all written out with Delilah's name on it, and
And
I
to
see
solidify it, Ashley actually, didn't she look down too to see?
She did.
Yeah,
she
you
lived
did see his
around.
body.
You did see
Yeah,
his
there was a
body.
body. So
Yeah.
he's
Yeah,
gone.
we did.
I'm just hopeful. I was just
I
hopeful
know,
that he was
I know.
still around.
Well, speaking of that, let's talk about the will and the trust fund and the living will, or the will that Ashley finds. So it names as the beneficiary Eddie, Gary, Rome, and Barbara Morgan.
Who the heck is
Who is
Barbara?
Barbara
Who is
Morgan?
that? Who?
I know Takira has a theory.
I'm leaving mine in my back pocket for prediction.
okay. We won't divulge it yet.
That is a big question mark.
It is
Huge.
It's crazy.
She was never mentioned before, right?
No, I've never.
Never have seen the name.
Okay.
I'm
So
going to see if it's on IMDb.
All about don't cheat.
Okay,
Don't
fine.
cheat.
I'm not looking.
Don't cheat.
Everyone in the live chat, don't cheat. Do that,
Alright.
Maggie.
We'll wait and see.
Yeah, but post, because obviously we'll have our predictions later. If you're in the live chat or afterwards, post who you think Barbara is.
Yeah, because I would love to hear some conspiracy theories on who Barbara is.
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh, who is Barbara Morgan? I mean, is she a long last?
Could you not?
Was she the only lady
no.
that was trapped in the elevator and we just haven't seen her?
Oh my god, I like that.
Maybe she was
Oh.
the lady in the elevator.
That is a
We
great
haven't
theory.
met yet.
Great
What
theory.
if Barbara?
I know, so exciting.
Live light bulb.
What if Barbara Morgan? This might be a stretch. What if she's really Ashley, and if Ashley's not really Ashley?
Ooh.
Good.
So
She's
she's
just a
kind of just
cover.
like
Yeah.
she's just the cover, and she's doing it for herself.
I
To
am
get-
so here for all of these twists.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know.
That's a good one. I like that better than the elevator.
Did you guys like what? And I know we're probably jumping ahead of ourselves with predictions, but did anyone else notice? Obviously, Delilah's name's not on it.
Yeah, or Delilah, or it could be
Or
It could
Delilah.
be Delilah, because Morgan
You know
could be
what?
her maiden name,
Or the
and Delilah
kids.
could be her middle name that she goes by.
Yeah.
Shout out to
Yeah.
Luann Simon. She said the same thing. Barbara Morgan is maybe John's wife.
Oh.
Delilah.
Ah.
Shady girl.
Yeah. But I know we're ahead of
Maybe.
predictions.
Okay.
We're only episode 2.
You get early predictions.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for some later predictions.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm super curious to see who
Yeah.
Miss Barbara turns out to be. I think, again, one of those little twists that we get from this show, which is so exciting. Before we jump into our next topic, guys, if you are... if you're a fan of AfterBuzz, we hope that you continue to be a fan of AfterBuzz. And on that note, I think you've got a little message for us.
I have a message for all of you AfterBuzzers out there. Our network produces after shows for nearly all of your favorite TV shows. From dramas, reality TV, sci-fi, and more, there is no network that works harder to serve television fans. But we need your help. We're asking that you please subscribe to one or more of our YouTube channels. And by subscribing to our channel, YouTube will suggest content that's tailor-made for you. And you'll help AfterBuzz continue to grow. And if you're worried about pesky notifications, don't be, because they are optional. So hit that subscribe button now for this channel and check out our other AfterBuzz YouTube channels as well. And let us know you did so in the comments, and we will thank you on air. For now, thanks so much for being the best fans and for helping us be the ESPN of TV talk.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. We can't do it without you, so thanks for being here.
You didn't do the animations like Takira did for me last week.
But I thought that halfway through, and then I was like, "Well, I can't."
I saw
Like
that.
a
That was
Takira
cute,
thing.
guys.
I can't steal her jazz.
We're also on Spotify.
Yes,
I
we
love that
are.
either, so
That's brand new.
first week, brand new. We're on Spotify, people.
Check us out.
Big.
Yeah.
Yeah, Spotify it out. Let's chat a little bit about Gary. And obviously, you know, he's been going through a lot. One of my favorite moments of this episode was seeing that first conversation that he sat down and had with Danny, John's son, and he was like, "All right, give it to me. Talk to me like straight. Like, who do you like at school? What's going on? Like, how's school?" He's like, "I don't like it. I don't hate it. It's kind of how's insurance going?" And he's like, "You know, it affords me like nice cars." And it's, I mean, it was such an adult conversation to have with,
Right.
I would probably guess is like a 10 or 11-year-old maybe. And, but it really shows sort of the heart and the back story of this relationship with these guys. But the thing that I think struck me the most was obviously the moment where Danny's on the bed and sort of having this reflective moment, and he says, what if, did my dad do it because of me? Because he knows things about me that you also know. Making sort of an implication that we see later about his blossoming sexuality, which is just one of those conversations that I have a 7-month-old, and I cannot even imagine having a conversation like that with him. How do you guys feel? How do you guys feel Gary handled that moment with Danny?
I think he handled it so well. I mean, he just said, he would love you even more, just like I'm going to love you even more, and everybody else who finds out this about you will love you even more. And it was just so heartwarming, but also such an emotional scene because you really see, taking out the sexual orientation part, you just see how much a child struggles in that situation. How does a child cope with the loss of a parent who took their own life? It's just heart-wrenching. And these children are so lucky that they have these band of dads that are going to be there for them and raise them for the rest of their lives. And it's just so sweet that they're calling themselves Uncle Gary and Uncle Eddie and Uncle Rome. It's really touching.
Yeah. I really thought that moment was just one of the more reflective and honest conversations we've seen on TV maybe this season or in a while. It just was a really heartwarming and also, too, I think one thing that kind of struck me about this episode and that moment in particular, we see Sophie and we see Danny. Last week, I think we saw a lot of the adults kind of going through the process of losing their best friend and their own sort of like coming to terms with it, coming to grips and questioning and guilt and things that they kind of carry with them. And that's something we'll continue to see, I believe, in the season. But we didn't get a lot of look into the children, into the kids, and how they feel and how it affects them. And so, Danny, obviously, it's really interesting to me when something like this happens, how our immediate human nature is to immediately start finding something within ourselves that perhaps could have caused it.
Right.
That was the thing that obviously Sophie was like, Sophie, I think, took a little bit of a different take, and that she was
Anger.
like, a little bit of that anger route. And, he had a plan for everybody, but not a plan for me. Thanks, Dad. Appreciate it. Still, another layered underneath that is sort of, why didn't he have a plan for me? Or what, was it an I'm not good enough kind of thing? Is that why he left me out? Or you know what I mean? You just kind of start to question everything. And so the kids having that moment, I think it was a really honest look into what kids go through in a circumstance like this. So
I love that Gary's reaction was so perfect in the fact that he still found a way to insert some type of comedy in there.
This is why he's my favorite.
Yeah, I love it. Right. He's just so darn lovable. And it cracked me up that on multiple occasions they are talking over orange juice or ginger ale like it's beer. He's chugging it long day, hit me with another. I love it.
So cute.
It's just that you need so much support during that time.
And he's keeping it light.
He is. He had a very good trend. I know we're on Gary right now, but he's almost starting to turn into the glue that forces everyone to stick together and to talk. And I mean, he wanted Rome to talk. He wanted Danny to talk. He wanted a lot of people, Maggie to talk. He was the one person that said, no, we're in this predicament because we don't talk enough and I need you to talk. You don't answer the phone, I'm worried. Who is that guy? You need it, just let me know. I'll understand. Whatever you tell me, I'll understand. So I love that part of him.
It's so sad to think that Danny thought that his father died because of his sexuality. That's why I'm so glad Gary came in with that conversation. He did an amazing job with.
He did.
I just felt so heartbreaking. That's why I think that John actually has a plan for him next too.
Yes.
That he doesn't know about. Hey, I actually recognize what my son was going through, and your sexuality is going to be known. He's going to calm that thought in Danny's mind. That's coming.
So.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think you're right.
I hope so too.
That's beautiful.
I hope so too, because I feel like in a show like this, the thing in a situation like this, the thing that we hope for is I'm going to say this and it's going to sound harsh, but I don't mean it this way. We look for some sort of a redeeming quality because it's such a drastic measure to take. And again, I keep going back to the kids because I'm just like, how do you do that to your kids?
Yeah, I know.
And, you know, I think it's just because I've never been there. You know, I haven't been there, so I don't know. But I can see in John's nature and sort of how he's lining. I mean, clearly he's starting with Regina. And then he drops the other little bomb that, it's Regina and Delilah with the restaurant that he closes the deal for. So I feel like there's got to be nuggets of sort of a reason why. Again, the whole theme of this show is everything happens for a reason.
I just want to, I guess, end this part on this. Even regardless, the ultimate question of this episode is why. We are never going to find that out. I mean, I hate to ruin the whole spill and theme of this show,
right?
But we're not. And it's natural for us to blame ourselves. But we'll never absolutely know. And sometimes those struggling with that feeling, they don't even know. Yeah. So, like, they're struggling understanding or communicating it. So how the hell are we supposed to be able to understand it? So my father took his life. And I guess that's why, like, we keep talking about kids. And I wasn't going to share it because it's just sometimes it's not appropriate for certain situations. But I guess being a child of someone who takes their own life, I was a Sophie for the longest. I was like anger, and I love that she found her own way to spin it into a positive thing, but it's never going to come to a point when you completely understand. So Sophie's ability to channel just a little grasp of light that her dad gave her, that Dixons don't quit, I think it's such a double entendre that he did in her mind do that. But I think this show is more so not the theme of the why, but the journey of recovering from that feeling and that devastation of it was my fault sort of thing. I think that's the bigger picture of this show.
Yeah, so. I think you're right. And thank you for sharing that with us, for sure. I mean, I think that's like super brave and bold of you to do. And I guess that's what I mean when I say, like, not a redeeming quality, but just sort of obviously, like, you're right. We're never going to find out exactly why something like this happens. But I think for me at least, I want to have some sort of I don't know.
Something tangible.
Something tangible to hold on to that makes that because we see so much good in John. You know what I mean? That's the thing. Like, so far we see so much good in him that I don't want him to be vilified for this decision. You know what I mean? Like, and kind of like, well, he says one thing, but he does another. You know what I mean? Like, because he's saying all these things. Well, everything happens for a reason. Dixons don't quit. You know, all of this stuff. You know,
and that whole fake smile thing that Rome touched on too. I definitely understand that.
Yeah. I don't know. It's gonna be a lot to see over the next little bit.
It's gonna be a
doozy, y'all. But before we jump into our final topic, I just want to remind you guys again that we are on iTunes, we are on Stitcher, we're on Google Play, and we are on Spotify. So make sure if you want to listen to this episode later, you can find us where all the podcasts are found. And if you are in the live chat right now, please let us know your comments, your thoughts. If you're watching this later on YouTube, let us know your comments as well. Takira's really good about replying to the comments. I'm good about reading them and liking them, and she's really good about engaging. But we really do want to hear what you guys think and how this show is affecting you as well. Final topic, guys, I just want to chat about Rome and his journey in this episode. I think one of the more powerful moments that we touched on a little bit was Rome walking to John's office at night and really kind of going up to in his mind, obviously, like, he went to the caution tape, but it goes up to the edge and I think really wanted to see what it was like to be John, which was kind of the theme for him in this episode. I can't be John. I can't be John. I want to see what it's like to be John. I can't find a reason how we're different. All of these things that he's really struggling comparing himself and his journey to John and how are they different at this point. And then we see We see him struggling on set as well.
Mm-hmm.
That I don't know what part of Rome's journey in this episode made you guys understand him the most?
Rome has so much pain. Yeah. He has so much pain, and you definitely see it throughout this whole episode. But the one thing that I do like about him that I think it sets him apart is he actually knows he knows he says he's trying to find a reason to be different than John. Like he knows that. That's one positive thing, but he has so much pain he needs to let out. I really think he should tell Regina. It's good that he told. Did he tell all of them, or was it just Gary?
No, it's both.
It was
they
both?
were at the game.
Yeah,
that's true.
yeah. Because he was having that.
And now
Gary
Maggie.
Yeah,
now Maggie.
knows. Yeah.
He just has so much pain, and just like him envisioning jumping and going to the office, it's heartbreaking. He needs to let that out.
Right.
But how do you guys feel about Maggie being the therapist, though?
Okay.
Well,
We can all talk about
Yeah.
this.
Okay.
But I don't know how I feel about her as a therapist in general.
Okay.
I don't love how she handled Rome in this episode. I get that she wants to keep that distance and that she does not want to be his therapist. Like 100%, I agree with that.
Same.
But the kind of like, as a therapist and as someone who is able to recognize those sort of signs of somebody reaching out for help, I was so turned off by the fact that she kept pushing him away.
yes.
Really?
But is it
noticed
just
that.
because of the confidentiality part of the fact that she is in that circle, though?
Yeah,
That's what I was
but
kind of
she-
thinking, and
yeah, that's a big step
her
to get
side.
To
Yeah.
get emotionally connected like that.
But at the
That's
same time, if he's reaching out for help and literally says, "I almost killed myself. You're the person that I'm going to for help." I think that I agree with you, Laura, that she should have been a little more receptive to giving him help. But I mean, she did refer someone. I just feel like maybe she should have sat down with him for a little longer and been like, "Okay, let's talk this through."
Right.
However, what she did say was really poignant. How she said, "You know what? You're different because you made a decision to live.
Yes. Right.
You answered that phone call." And I think that actually really got through to him because prior to that, he was like, "Wow, I'm just like John. I'm just like John." And now he's like, "No, I'm not. I can live. I can get through this." And the experience that I know with people who are severely depressed is I know that it's very difficult to make that step to get help. And so many people live with depression for years and years and years and just can't bring themselves to seek help. So the fact that he is seeking help is really
big.
telling
Yeah.
that he wants to improve and he wants to get better.
Well, we see him hiding behind a fake smile. Like you asked earlier what the trend is. I think the trend for him is the pretending. That was the trend throughout the episode. And you said he was struggling on set. Even down to, and I think, of course, the writers are a little brilliant in seeing of Rome putting on a fake face. But he also touched on a pretty big, I think, a taboo topic that's taboo in the Black community is Rome looked at another African American on set and said, "Can you believe we have to do this crap?" And then the guy said, "I'm getting paid a month's rent standing here drinking a soda." So that's like a double face here. So yes, he's putting on a fake face and a fake smile, but it also touches on the taboo topic that we in the Black community have a phrase of the corporate face, and that it's this voice, it's this look that you almost have to like doll up and do your hair a certain way and put on this facade, and that can bring a lot of people down. And there's so many African Americans struggling with depression and suicidal thoughts, and it's so taboo to talk about in that community. It's almost like you don't. So I love that the writers I feel like intentionally highlighted that. So kudos to you guys. But I love the turn that at the end he, like you guys said, realized, yeah, I'm not like John. I can
That's
do
a
this.
big plus that I was talking
And
about.
he steps in for Eddie at the recital, and
Which was the plan for
Perfect.
Sophie, and I love that.
Yeah.
'Cause she was like, "Oh, my dad didn't do
Already
anything."
knew the dance.
Yeah.
I love that.
My
I thought that was
gosh.
really.
Yeah.
I thought that was really sweet.
Yeah.
Do you guys? Okay, quick question before we pop off of Rome here. Double fold question. Do we think that it was right or wrong of Eddie to accept in the first place?
Wrong.
Wrong.
I understand why, but they're wrong.
I think it was wrong too, but I mean, how do you say no to this sweet little girl who just
Right.
lost her
That's
dad?
what I was saying, because Sophie doesn't know any of this. Nobody knows any of this. So
We don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like it kind of would. I don't like it. I'll just put it out there, but I feel like it was it would have been a good cover up of the whole situation, maybe, to just go out there and just do it, because otherwise it could have been suspicious. Like, well, why did you back out? What happened?
Right. It starts to ask questions.
Yeah, it
and I
starts
don't
to
think
raise
anybody
questions.
wants questions.
Exactly,
around them
especially not right now. But I agree. I don't think he should
But
have
it's
done it.
odd that Sophie chose Eddie because she already knew that Rome knew the dance, because Rome was sitting there watching it, and she probably knew that her dad taught Rome the dance.
I think there's a little
Or
bit
maybe
more
she
to
didn't
that.
know.
I don't think Sophie knew, because he could have just been watching as just to be there.
That's true.
You know?
It's one of my predictions.
Okay.
I'll lock it.
Well,
So many predictions.
so many. Well, before we hop into predictions,
Yes.
guys, let's get a bit of a little bit of news, please.
AfterBuzz TV News.
All right, some news and gossip. So last week, if you were tuning in, you heard me say this. We'll start off with I guess Constance, but you heard me kind of say, who was that random chick at the funeral that says, "Yeah, good job, Eddie," after his eulogy? Well, if you guys watch Unreal and Entourage, you will know that it's Constance Zimmer. She is not just your average. She is an amazing actress. You'll see on your screen the moment when she kind of had a we don't know her name. Or anything.
Yes.
And then also in another picture, we also see the wife, Eddie's wife, Catherine, kind of give this glare like there's a little something going on. And a lot of people on Twitter were all fired up about it. So I'm here for it, and it ties to my prediction. But on to our next news and gossip. I want to give a highlight to DJ Nash. He tweeted, I'll quote it, "Came up with the title for this show, surfing the internet in the food court at Ralph's. Hashtag cat poster." And the cat poster, he posted a picture. It literally says, "Friendship isn't a big thing. It's a million little things."
No
way.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
Ralph's? Yes, Ralph's.
Shout out Ralph's. So
Get it, Ralph's.
you really never know where
Inspiration
you're
can come from anywhere.
It can come from anywhere. But speaking of inspiration can come from everywhere, shout out to Tanya. She is one of our amazing supportive viewers. So thank you so much, Tanya. She made this amazing graphic for our show, y'all. Like, look at Tanya.
Thank
you, Tanya.
It's amazing. So
Gorgeous.
you guys are literally our extended co-hosts. Like live chat, comments after. You are like virtually sitting here at the table. So we love you guys and we really appreciate it. And I'll just end on shouting out to Rami. He was in
Night School.
It premiered on Friday.
With Kevin Hart.
Shout out. Congratulations to that. He stated that he's never been in a supporting role that got so much attention that he almost thought that he was in more of the movie, like almost more than Kevin Hart. He had this conversation with Kevin, like, "Look, man, I don't really know how much of your stuff that they put in there, but I mean, I think I'm in there a whole lot." And so,
Wow.
but kudos to you. So
to
shout
go.
out to you.
This is the 4th movie he's done with Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
Like, he's done
Pretty
so
funny.
many movies. I love him.
Nice.
Also,
Yeah.
also real
He's
quick,
so
this is
great.
Anthony in the booth. I actually saw Night School, and I personally like this character more than Kevin Hart's character.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm late.
Thank
I
you,
need to-
Anthony.
Twitter's blowing up. You're not the only one, Anthony. So kudos
I gotta
to
see
you.
this
Shout
movie.
out, Romy.
Yeah.
It's a good moment for him right
It's
now.
on my
for
list.
Sure.
Yeah.
So we
But that's all news and gossip.
hope he keeps it up. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
guys. I skipped our special segment, so we're gonna do it really quickly. Our special segment is hashtag little things.
Little things, ABTV.
Okay, I'm gonna get it right one of these days. Little things, ABTV. So, what's the little thing that you took from this episode that maybe stuck with you? Maybe you think caused you to reflect, made you mad, whatever. Got all your emotions going. Kick us off, Takira. What do you think? What was your little thing?
Authenticity. Show it. Just be your true self.
Love it.
That's what I took.
I will say unconditional love. 100%. Okay. Yep.
Yeah, mine
Real
is
quick.
the importance of seeking help.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, I think mine was just going back to the comment with Danny and Gary. I think just the importance of being honest and honesty, and how that plays a factor in everything in your life.
True.
All right, let's move on to our predictions before we jump out of here.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Ooh, that's fancy.
I like it.
She's fancy. All right, who wants to kick us off? I feel like you have a ton, Takira.
I'll just give 2.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
I think it is. Constance Zimmer's character is Barbara Morgan.
Ooh, I agree.
See? That's what I have. And
Good one.
I think Sophia may have been the one to found the necklace and maybe told John. Or Sophie. I keep saying Sophia. Sophie.
I think Sophie knows more than she's letting on.
Yep.
Yes, 100%.
Which I think is why it's a lot of that anger kind of holding on to. But anyway. What about
Well,
you,
I
Miss
disagree about who Barbara Morgan might be.
Hey.
I kind of said it earlier. It could be Delilah or Ashley as like a hidden name
I like it.
on the paperwork. And Tom, who we saw briefly, is going to put a damper on Gary and Maggie's relationship.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
Yes. I just said 2 of them. So, yeah, I'll save the other one.
Okay.
So one of my predictions goes along with that. I think that Tom is actually Maggie's husband. And she left him.
The drama.
Yes.
Oh.
And then my other prediction is that Catherine, Eddie's wife, finds out about the affair. And we saw a little bit of that in the preview for next episode.
Oof.
Yeah, I actually have the same prediction that Catherine knows. Because we haven't seen a lot of Catherine in the show so far. So I feel like Catherine might be a little bit of a ticking time bomb as well. So we will just have to keep watching to find out. Please watch along with us, comment, rate, subscribe, all of the fun things. Let us know your thoughts. Use the hashtag LittleThingsABTV to let us know your thoughts. And we will see you next Wednesday. Until then, I am Laura L. Thomas. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Laura L. Thomas.
I'm Maggie Clark. You can find me at Maggie Clark on camera on Instagram and at Maggie on camera on Twitter.
And I'm Tay Alexandria. You can find me at Tay Alexandria TV on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
And I am Takira Shabrae. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Takira_Shabrae.
Perfect, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next Wednesday. Have a great week.
Bye. Thank you.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.